I rise on a point of personal privilege in light of the unspeakable horror at the Robb Elementary School and the murder of 19 students and 2 teachers. The children, 19 children, give or take, age 10. 48 hours ago, they were thinking about the promotion ceremony, the carnival, after school, long summer days, the heat, tire swings, and cool ponds. Their parents, when they dropped them off or sent them off to school that day, were thinking, what the heck are we going to do with these kids? It's almost summer. How are we going to look after them? 48 hours later, what the parents are thinking about is picking out the clothes to bury them in. I'm not going to use this opportunity to speak about enhanced or reasonable gun control. I hope that we have the chance as a body to debate that on a variety of measures that are out there in the future. I'm not rising to talk about my views, at least, of the Second Amendment and how common sense gun control falls right within the parameters and ambit of what the founders meant. I rise, Mr. Speaker, and my colleagues, to ask us all to grieve. Since 1999 in Columbine, 185 students have died in school shootings. I'm not talking about college campuses, elementary and high schools. I'm not talking about school grounds or after hours. During school hours, 185 students dead and not taken by their own self-destructive hands, but rather having their lives taken by another. There have been 27 school shootings in 2022, and my God, it's only May. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to grieve that 7 out of 10 of the people that have taken the lives of those students have themselves been 18 years or younger. What does that say? Mr. Speaker, I rise to grieve just May 14th, the 10 souls that perished at the hands of a 18-year-old in Buffalo, New York, by a hate-filled, misguided 18-year-old. Let me stop there. What happened the next day? I bet as we all focus, there's some of you that are saying, what happened the next day? Well, on May 15th, and we just had that beautiful display of Asian American culture, another hate-filled man ran into a Taiwanese church in Laguna Woods, and but for the heroic actions of a 52-year-old that happened to bring his mom to church that day, there would have been many more victims. He was a victim. Dr. John Chang. I stand, Mr. Speaker, as we all should, to grieve for his wife, his 2 teenage children, and the thousands of individuals that he'll never get a chance to heal as a doctor. I rise, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker. Well, let me stop. I'm going to ask you all to remember something. Do you remember when you might have heard thunder for the first time when you were a kid? If anybody as old as me could remember that, back to that. And your parents maybe, or somebody that you love and trusted, kind of reassured you. Have you ever done that with your own children or your grandchildren? Since the 185 students have died over the past 20 years, there's been 310,000 students that were in school why their colleagues were murdered. Shouldn't we grieve for their distress? Can they be comforted like our children when they hear thunder? No. For the rest of their lives, there is no comfort. And for that, we should grieve. I'm going to start crying myself. I have a bunch of photos here. I was going to bring them, and I have them. I can't even look at them. I can't imagine the joys and the vicissitudes of life that were just cut so short for all of the victims, and particularly all of these 9 and 10 years olds. I don't have the answers, guys. Is it enhancing common sense gun laws, maybe trumping up our red flag laws since seem to work? Is it more robust anti-bullying laws? Is it really revamping our mental health system? Is it target hardening and putting bulletproof glass and bolts on doors? I don't know. Maybe it's all those things. But what I've been thinking about, there's a saying of Maya Angelou, and of course there's so many that she said and have been so inspiring. One that I think fits this moment for all of us was when she said, "Do the best you can until you know better. And then when you know better, do better." If any of us have a scintilla in us of empathy, if any of us have the common sense to be open-minded, everyone, we know better. We know better. There's 80 of us in this chamber and 40 in the chamber next door, imbued with the collective authority to do better. Let's join together. I also think a lot about 49 other legislatures in the 49 other great states in this nation. I think of the United States Congress, and again, they're imbued with the authority to do better, and they know better. And boy, I pray that they do better. And I guess, Mr. Speaker, I'll leave it with that. I hear a lot of people, say, well, I don't want to hear prayers. And I understand the frustration. I understand the sentiment. But maybe we need to be spiritual to allow us to get through this, not to forget, and to do better. So if I might ask all of our colleagues to take a moment to pray for all of us and our colleagues around the country for wisdom to do better, and to pray for all of the souls and their families on this tremendous loss. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Everyone, please rise for a moment of silence in honor of the precious lives lost at Robb Elementary School.